Hey guys, this is going to be a short video showing off the new Ruger Wrangler. This is one of the newest handguns from Ruger. It came out last April, so about a month ago from the time of this video. And we're going to make sure that the weapon is empty first. We open the loading gate, cylinder is freed up, and the gun is empty. This is basically a budget version of the Ruger Single 6. The Ruger Single 6 is a 22 long rifle single action handgun, much like this one. It is based largely off of the original single action army. And the Ruger Single 6 is a really awesome gun. It's a very well built gun, and I've shot them a lot. I absolutely love them. However, brand new, they will run you around $500 or $600. That was generally what I was seeing them for. And to be honest with you, as much as I absolutely love the Single 6, $500, I don't care how well built it is. $500 for a rim fire handgun, to me, is just really high. Fortunately, there were a few other options for rim fire single action handguns like this one. I think that the most notable example would be the Heritage Rough Rider, which that gun I have seen priced for as low as like $99. But those guns, however, are not as well made as the Rugers. There is a lot of consensus that I see on that. So I think Ruger decided that they should build a budget version of the Ruger Single 6, and the result is the Wrangler. And this gun I bought for $189. However, I have seen it for as low as $159. I'll show you the opposite side of it. So this is almost the same thing as the Single 6, only it's available for around half of what the Single 6 is available for. And you may be wondering, did Ruger sacrifice a lot of quality? So far, I've shot this gun a lot. I've owned it for a couple of weeks now. So far, it's a really awesome gun. It's a really fun gun. It's just as fun as the Ruger Single 6, and it seems to operate just fine. The finish, most of the finish is a Cerakote finish, with the exception of the cylinder, which I think is blued. It actually looks blued. The rest of the gun, though, has a black Cerakote finish, which means that it is very rust resistant. Cerakote is a very rust resistant finish overall. The Single 6s that I saw have a blued finish, which looks really nice, but it's not as rust resistant. And then this gun uses an aluminum frame, which is definitely not as durable as the Ruger Single 6, but for $189 or so, I think it's fine. And Ruger, I think, said, I forget exactly what they said, but they said that this gun uses like CNC machining methods that is less costly. And another way that this gun is less money is the grips. The grips, I will talk about those later, but they definitely save some money there. So overall, this gun is basically the same thing as a Single 6, only it's a version of it that is less money. Everything on the gun functions just fine, just like how you think that it would. Overall, I do really like the gun. It's a lot of fun. Shooting this thing on the range, like shooting like any of the single actions on the range, is always a lot of fun. These sights are definitely not super great, but that's all right. It's less than 200 bucks. The only things I am not a fan with this gun about is it's a little bit rougher than the single six. Like, everything operates a little more roughly. If you have ever fired or handled a single six, then you should know that everything on them is buttery smooth. At least that's how it is for each of the single sixes that I have ever used. I can't quite say the same thing for this one. This loading gate takes a good bit of force to open up, and I pinched my thumb on it once, which was not very much fun. The hammer is very solid, but definitely is not quite as buttery smooth as a single six. Trigger is the same way. I'm not going to dry fire it, but it's definitely not quite as light or smooth as a single six or a lot of other single action guns. The grips are something else I'm not that wild with. They're this plastic grips as far as I can see. I can't really show you, but when you hold it, they don't feel very solid. They feel kind of cheaply made. But fortunately, this will accept the same grips as the single six. So I think later I will have some laminated wood grips on this gun. I think that would look super awesome. But other than that, those are really the only, I guess, issues that I have with the gun. I mean, if this gun was like 400 or 500 bucks, I would be upset, but it's only 200 bucks. So, yeah, I think I think for a $200 rimfire single action gun, this is probably the best option out. This is worlds better than the Heritage Rough Rider. I've never fired a Rough Rider, but I have held them a lot, and they do not feel very solid. I think that they use zinc alloy, which is not that durable overall, but this one has the aluminum, like I referenced. Also, this gun operates the same way as any of the other single sixes or any of the other Ruger single actions. So to free the cylinder, you just open up the loading gate there, and that frees open the cylinder. With most other single actions, you have to bring it back to half cock in order to free up the cylinder, but there is no half cock on this. It's either all the way back or all the way forward. This is unlike a few other single actions. So this is a Uberti that I have. We're gonna make sure that it's empty. All right, so this is exactly how most single actions are. In order to free the cylinder, you need to have it back to half cock, like such. And this will free up the cylinder, and this will allow you to then load in your rounds. Overall, I do prefer the half cock feature because it's more, I guess, old school, but it's fine on the Ruger. One thing I will say I don't like about this free floating cylinder, if you can refer to it as such, there's no definitive clicks, so it's up to you to line up these holes with the rod here. Like right there, it's not going. So you gotta like line it up to get that rod out to reload. So like if you open it up here and it goes through, you just got to make sure that it lines up. Unlike this gun, where, see, click, click, click. And each time it's already lined up. So, final thoughts on the Ruger Wrangler. I think for less than $200, you are getting a Rock-Solid Handgun. This gun is a lot of fun to shoot with on the range. I will be shooting it a lot more. And yeah, previously, I've always wanted a Ruger single six, but I never got one because they were like $500. And this one you can get for less than $200. And it may not be as nice as a single six, but for only $200, I think it's a rock solid option. All right, guys, thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.